The Rams absolutely cannot allow for this to happen. We are talking all about their matchup versus the depleted Baltimore Ravens next Sunday, as well as what the Rams have on their end in terms of injuries, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and press that subscribe button now, as roughly 61.4% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. Again, all I'm saying is if you're already watching, you keep coming back for more, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, we're talking a little bit about how the urgency is high for the 1-4 Baltimore Ravens versus the Rams. Ian Rappaport tweeting, this is obviously before their matchup versus Houston, saying Ravens coach John Harbaugh on quarterback Lamar Jackson and his hamstring injury. The way I know Lamar, if he could have gone in the game, he would have been in the game. That's how Lamar is. That does open the door to Jackson missing next Sunday versus the Texans. Again, that was pre-game of the tweet from Ian Rappaport in regard to potentially seeing Lamar Jackson not play in that game. Lamar Jackson did not play in that game, if you guys didn't pay attention to the Baltimore versus Houston game. And, well, it was kind of an ugly one, right? Houston has been not very good in terms of their offense this year, yet they were able to blow out the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are very depleted on both ends. Now losing their starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson, most likely not going to play in that matchup versus the Los Angeles Rams coming up as well. And so you're looking at Cooper Rush at quarterback. You're looking at a team that already defensively has been so depleted that everyone is putting up basically 35-plus points against the Baltimore Ravens defense. So, it's kind of ultimately one of those situations, right, when we're discussing the Rams and their matchup versus the Ravens. Yes, of course, the injuries are a big deal, but you're talking about the sense of urgency being high versus the versus Los Angeles Rams for the Baltimore Ravens. And why is that important? Well, the Ravens are desperate, right? And that's kind of the key here. The Rams cannot go into this game like, oh, it's Cooper Rush. They're very injured. This Baltimore defense is very bad, and our offense is pretty good. And you cannot go into this matchup taking it lightly, especially not after what you did versus San Francisco. We saw the Indianapolis Colts, right? And we said, well, this team is 3-0, or they were undefeated at the time, 3-0. Yeah, they're not too good, but they are also 3-0. You have to consider that. This team, it's kind of the flip of that, right? When you're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, yeah, they're 1-3, but still the Baltimore Ravens. They still got Derrick Henry. They still have some nice receivers. And yes, Cooper Rush isn't Lamar Jackson, but he's a quarterback we've seen get wins in this league before, back when he played with the Dallas Cowboys. And so ultimately, well-coached team. They're desperate. They're going to have that high sense of urgency. The Los Angeles Rams cannot go into this game acting like they will win it regardless of what happens on the field for them, right? Obviously, any given Sunday for any team, but this feels like kind of like a trap game, right? Almost when you're talking about playing the backup quarterback in Cooper Rush. So with the 1-4 record and the season slipping away with each passing week, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh knows the tide has to start turning. Now we've got a lot of decisions to make. John Harbaugh said we've got a lot of planning to do. We've been at it since last night, and we plan on putting ourselves in position to win this football game, and then going forward to win a lot of football games this year. That's what we've got to do, and the urgency is high. And so ultimately, Harbaugh is sitting here and he's telling you, right, they have a high sense of urgency. They are trying to win football games. They understand they cannot be sitting here at 1-4 like everything's all fine and dandy. They have to start winning some games, and that starts with the matchup versus the Los Angeles Rams now after coming off the Houston Texans loss, right? So can the Ravens upset the Rams? This is, by the way, is coming from an article kind of written from that Ravens perspective a little bit. So of course they can, but will they? Well, that's a different question. By the way, of course, any team, any given Sunday, right? But realistically, the Rams should handle business versus Baltimore. You can't say with any confidence that the Ravens will be able to avoid another blowout loss after a Texans offense that looked average at best this season suddenly transformed and looked like the best unit in football. With Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and others, the Ravens defense is again going to have a tough time slowing down their opponents, and it is unfair to expect Rush to win a shootout. That's not his game. And so overall, the positives here for the Rams. Injuries on the Baltimore side of things, don't root for that. Sad for that to happen. But the reality is they are a very depleted roster right now. So the defense is not playing super well. They are well coached. but they just aren't really putting it all together right now on the football field. They're down. The morale is down. They just don't seem really like they have a chance this season. Lamar Jackson will be back eventually, but not this week versus the Rams. So the Rams need to come into this building, take care of business, keep the foot on the gas versus a team that's kind of out of it, right? They're not really feeling it right now. Keep the foot on the gas. Don't allow this team to come back at all. And then this goes to us from a little bit. We'll dive into. Let me make sure I pull it up right. Sorry. The quote from Sean McVay here. He says, "I don't care what's happened. This is a prideful team. We better be ready to freaking go this week." And so, Sean McVay is essentially acknowledging that this team is going to have some pride. At the end of the day, this team is professional. This team and the Baltimore Ravens are going to come out ready to play. Look at what happened with the San Francisco 49ers, right? It's like a perfect example of back-to-back weeks now. The Rams are looking at a team that's like, okay, wow, they don't have this guy. They don't have that guy. They don't have this guy. But the Rams lost that game versus the Niners and lost it pretty handily, right? It was kind of like they were clawing, scratching, trying to just kind of crawl their way back into that football game. And they did, but they still lost. And you don't want that to happen again this week. And I think Sean McVay knows that. I think it was a perfect preparation game for the Rams. If there was any type of preparation game for a quote-unquote trap game, you had it last week versus the San Francisco 49ers. So the Rams need to take advantage of the fact that you're playing against a team that is not fully healthy, win the football game, get out of there, come back home, and let's take care of business as the weeks roll on. So that's the perspective for the Los Angeles Rams going into the game versus the Baltimore Ravens. How are you guys feeling about that game? Let me know your confidence level of the Rams versus the Baltimore Ravens. We still have a long week ahead to talk about it. Just kind of want to get your feeling for it right now on Monday, as the Rams have obviously not been playing for a couple of days. We want to make sure they are, we're talking about the next week already, right? It's been a few days. We've let that, no pun intended, we've let that Niners game digest in our system a little bit longer. So how are you guys feeling about the Baltimore Ravens? I know you guys are already thinking about that for the last couple games. So let me know how you guys are feeling down below in the comment section. And moving on from that, Sean McVay shares troubling Rams injury news on Monday. So we're talking about, a couple injuries the Rams themselves are dealing with, right? It's not just the Baltimore Ravens that are going to be a depleted roster a little bit. Ultimately, the Rams also have injuries on their end, not to the extent of the Baltimore Ravens by any stretch of the imagination, but they've been dealing with some nicks and bruises here and there, and so we want to make sure we're kind of getting updated on that. So we'll see what we have to say here. First one to talk about, Omar Speights. Speights has a high ankle sprain and will likely be listed as doubtful for this week. Speights has been on a roll this season, cementing himself within the starting lineup and a premier run stopper. The loss of Speights comes the week the Rams play the Baltimore Ravens. A pretty good run offense, might I add, right? So not that they're really successful this year, I should say, but they have Derrick Henry. That's kind of the point, right? So ultimately, the Rams are going to be out without one of their better linebackers again, kind of bringing up that conversation of maybe the Rams should have invested a little bit more in the depth of this position as well as the cornerback room. But hey, we'll see what these backups can do. Is Sean Dolak going to kind of get some shine in this game alongside Nate Landman? Is Troy Reeder going to kind of prove to all the Rams fans that he deserves to be on this roster playing some defensive snaps? Hasn't done it yet so far, but ultimately that is what we're going to have to wait and see this coming week. And then moving off of that, some other updates here. Let's see if I can pull them up accurately. Sorry about that. Kobe Parkinson, as he is also dealing with injury, is in concussion protocol. Parkinson has been dealing with various issues this season. McVay feels confident that Parkinson's status will improve. It's unknown if he will play this week. Both Speights and Parkinson's injuries come from the 49ers game, so that's definitely key there to note. But ultimately, I said it during that live stream. If you missed it, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss any more live streams. I actually said it. I saw Kobe Parkinson make the catch. His head just kind of slammed right onto the turf. Just the back of his head straight hitting the turf, just kind of not really being able to put his hands down as he was trying to make a catch. This is the picture right here from that catch. Almost completed it, but ultimately does hit his head pretty hard. So it's just kind of a precautionary thing, I would think, to make sure he's not dealing with any concussion symptoms and whatnot. So, hoping that he's back. But if he doesn't play this week, we understand that hopefully he'll be back the following week for Kobe Parkinson. And then moving on from that, some other injury news here, some other injury updates. We're talking about Tyler Higbee, Rob Havenstein. Both players missed Thursday night's contest against the Niners. Higbee and Havenstein, sorry, I don't know why I couldn't say that for a second, are making good progress towards a return, but no solid news has been made reportable. So up in the air on Tyler Higbee and Rob Havenstein again this week. Steve Avila has been weirdly dressing and not playing, and then kind of just healthy scratches, it seems like. Last week we can kind of maybe see how it was a Thursday night football game, so that's why. But Steve Avila was benched last week as he works his way back from an ankle injury despite practicing on Monday. McVay stated Avila was good to play and would get the start if he takes care of business in practice. All signs from the facility point to Avila getting the start. Avila hasn't done anything wrong. It's more about making sure he's prepared for the contest, standard stuff. So it's good to know. Kind of interesting, like he was kind of suiting up the last couple weeks and not really ready to go. But ultimately, hey, it is what it is. The Rams should be in a good spot with Steve Avila. Hopefully the offensive line altogether can be as healthy as possible. The offense hasn't necessarily been a consistent problem. Matthew Stafford playing one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year, even though he has been thrown off at times, and fans aren't really super excited about that. He has been one of the best quarterbacks in football this year. So the offense is fine, I think. Just kind of got to get a little more consistent, on the same page consistently, and I think play the whole 4 quarters and consistently is kind of the key there. So hopefully a healthy offensive line will be a spark for the offense. And then moving off of that, that's pretty much it. Trivia of the day for today's episode is going to be up in a couple seconds, as we are talking about last episode's trivia of the day here. Who was the first rookie quarterback to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and take his team to the playoffs in the same season, 2000s era? Trivia of the Day number 130. If you guys missed this episode of Trivia of the Day or never seen me do Trivia of the Day here at the Rams Digest, I ask a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, whether they're right, whether they're wrong. We give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode, this was the question we asked everyone, and these were the guesses for the last episode's trivia of the day. We had Lake Show fan saying RG3 ? Trivia questions are my favorite part of the episode of the show. Josh, keep it up, brother. Appreciate you, Lake Show, for saying that. Always love to hear you say that. Anyone say that, but Lake Show, appreciate you for always playing along and just kind of really showing some love to Trivia of the Day. It does take me a couple minutes to get these things together, so I appreciate you guys for appreciating them. Floyd says Big Ben, and then Anderson says fans need to calm down. I'm sick by that loss, but lay off McVay and the guys. Where was the defense that first full half? ? McVay is still the best coach in our history outside of Dick Vermeil. Trivia, Big Ben ? And yeah, I agree with Anderson. Overall, I think sometimes as fans, we can get a little bit upset about certain things and say things we don't necessarily mean because you're upset about how things are going. Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's one of the best coaches in your history. He's one of the best coaches in NFL history. And when it's all said and done, he will be probably one of the best coaches in NFL history. So let's take it easy. Let's not freak out. It's week 5, going into week 6. We got some time to fix some things. That's how football works. Don't freak out about it. The multiple choice options for this trivia of the day were A, Ben Roethlisberger, B, Andrew Luck, C, Robert Griffin III, or D, Matt Ryan. Who was the first rookie quarterback to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and take his team to the playoffs in the same season? The correct answer was A, Big Ben Roethlisberger. So special shout out to Floyd and Anderson, but shout out to everyone, including Lake Show fan, who played along with today's trivia of the day. Just a special shout out to those who got it correctly. Again, if you guys saw this question, you're like, that was easy. I could have got that right. I wish I got a shout out. Play along with today's episode of Trivia of the Day as we are asking this question to everyone here. Which city hosted the first ever Super Bowl to go into overtime? Is a little bit of a hint here. Happened kind of recently. Which city hosted the first ever Super Bowl to go into overtime? And this happened kind of recently. Which city hosted the first? I don't know why I'm about to say it again. Was it A, Dallas, B, Miami, C, Houston, or D, Atlanta? Which city hosted the first ever Super Bowl to go into overtime? A, Dallas, B, Miami, C, Houston, or D, Atlanta? Give your guesses down below in the comment section, whether they're right or whether they're wrong. We'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Other than that, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.